Hola a todos y hola Ana, ¿cómo estás?
Muy bien, ¿y tú?
Bien, qué dicha tenerte aquí. Y
Muchas
bueno,
gracias.
hoy no se asusten que Carlos está en camino también, está en un trancón tremendo, pero me llamó y me dijo, allá me voy a conectar, no se puede perder la charla con Ana hoy.
Entonces, ¿lo vamos a hacer en español? Well, that's what happens.
That's what
Don't
happened
worry.
when I am speaking in Spanish before doing the
Before starting the show. So,
but, but
the,
now
the-
you get to hear my voice in the two different languages.
and
So this
everybody
is
can
all
practice
good.
their Spanish. That's
So
right.
I was saying that Carlos is late today. He called me. He's in this big traffic jam, but he's on his way. So we're going to get to see him. He will we'll get together with him in few minutes. But I'm so happy to have you here today. You-
Thank you, Ingrid. I'm delighted. Thank you for inviting me, for having me here. I feel very, very blessed to be part of your program and everything you do because it's amazing everything you do. And you and Carlos have an amazing show here. So thank you for having me here.
Oh, thank you, Anna. And this is not the first time that I started speaking like a mix, like Spanish English. So bad. What this tells me in my heart is that soon we're going to start the one in Spanish too, because I get many requests like, when are you going to do this in Spanish? So I think my heart is just
Okay.
saying, yes, this is going to come in the two languages. So
Yes, yes, sure.
yeah, yeah. So that way we just have a space here for everybody. But wow, Anna, I mean, we can give probably 2 more minutes for Carlos to come. So I guess in the meantime, we can see a little bit like where are people joining us from. I see that we have people in Instagram, we have people on Facebook, and we have people in our YouTube. So wow, we have people from all different places joining us already. This is just amazing. And just sharing your story, Anna, is going to really, really bring a lot of, I think, hope. And I guess it's going to soften the heart and bring the knowledge that life is more incredible than we really think it is. We limit our minds so much. And a story like yours, a story of survival, is just incredible. With Anna, the whole thing is knowing that despite you being born with such a hard health condition, with your heart that was in such a, I would just say, would you say damage, would you say
It was a very severe malformation,
yeah.
and it was absolutely not even compatible with life. And
Oh
for those
God.
of you who are doctors or anybody that knows a little bit about the heart structure, I was born with transposition of great vessels, one single ventricle, and pulmonary stenosis. So that means the lack of oxygen was severe. And usually children live from 4 to 8 years max. There's no way because there's no compatibility because there's no oxygen. So all the organs and everything starts malfunctioning, and the outcome and the prognosis and diagnosis was terrible. They told my parents, I don't think she's going to live more than 8 years. There's no way. I mean, there's no life expectation for a girl like her. So it was precisely at 8 that I understood what my problem was. So in that moment, I said, okay. So when I was so sick and tired, Ingrid, of going to the hospital and over again. They wanted, they took me because I got any flu, I got anything got very complicated all the time. So I ended up in the hospital in intensive care. It was like very constant to be in the hospital. So I was so tired of that. So when I was 7 or 8, I went to the hospital once again, and I told my parents, this is enough. Why are you bringing me to the hospital and not my siblings? I mean, what did I do wrong? I'm going to behave, but just stop bringing me here. So because that time they didn't really explain what was going on. If you ask, you were just told like, no, 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 you're okay, you're okay. There were no real explanations given to a child. So there's where my dad told me, you have a very serious heart condition, and we don't know how long are you going to be okay. So you need to obey the doctors and obey your mom, and let's hope that this runs. This is probably the key that made the difference in me, Ingrid. When my dad said, because
Hmm.
it was him that day, I was crying, and then he said, that's what doctors say. They say that's the prognosis and that the diagnosis, but what if God has another plan?
No.
Said, oh, okay, so there's what if. So I really held on to that what if God has another plan. And I think that's what changed my perspective and my vision of that things could be different in spite of. And yes, sometimes physical bodies come with a certain physical situations that are not compatible with life, like mine. But what I've been doing through all, I mean, I'm almost 60 years old, and I say it with this joy because I never thought I was going to survive that many years. So yes, and life is worth living despite of any circumstances, because I think that what made a difference was the visualization of a life in spite of whatever circumstances. So the way that you see things definitely is where it's like Wayne Dyer said, wherever you put your attention, there's your energy. So my energy, everything I was concentrating in was in being alive. So one of the things I really am grateful to my parents is that they never cut my wings. They never told me, don't go, don't run, don't jump, don't. Hello, Carlos.
Hello, how you doing?
Well, we started in Spanish and now we're in English.
Oh, Carlos.
Glad to hear you, Ana Cecilia and Ingrid.
Thank you.
Oh, continue. I'm
Thank you
just
for having
listening.
me here.
Thank
Yeah,
you,
so
thank you.
so I think that one of the things that I really am grateful is that they never ever cut my wings. They let me dream. They let me believe. They let me have these thoughts of achieving things. So the fact that I was concentrated in that and visualizing a life, I remember that whenever I went into difficult circumstances, because I went through a lot and I have a lot of spiritually transformative experiences in my life when I was a child. But I remember that whenever I knew that death was imminent and that I was really sick, I remember saying, like, when doctors said, "Well, this is very serious. I've been face to face with death so many times." But I remember that in my mind, I said, "Wait a minute," but I already saw myself growing up. I saw myself getting married. I saw myself having children, and I saw myself working. No, 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 I can't die now. I mean, I already saw it here, so it's gonna be there. It's gonna get there. So I think that my one of my biggest words is visualization. Visualizing whatever you want to achieve in spite of whatever circumstances. So the circumstances can say something, but those little words that my dad said, what if God has another plan? That makes us understand that what happened in my body, and this is something they're still studying. Doctors nowadays, they they don't understand my survival. And I know I'm probably one of the oldest survivals with this uh, heart condition at my age. Nowadays, there's a lot of technology, there's surgeries, but at my age, I'm probably one of the only ones alive with this heart condition. And what I want to share, and I've dedicated my life to that, to these the last the last years of my life, is telling people that yes, something happens in your body. The body got its own balance, cellularly speaking. It arranged itself to be able to balance for my survival. So the body receives the information you're given in your head, in your mind, in your beliefs, and the body just responds. I mean, if you can achieve anything you want, and I say, well, yes, that's impossible. Well, not that impossible. If we can believe it, we can create it. I don't know how it happens, but it's just like we don't know how when you turn on the TV, you just push a button and it's on. We don't have to understand how it works. We just know and we believe that if you turn on that button, the TV is going to turn on and a lot of pictures are going to appear and things are going to happen. Something similar happened in my life, believing that things could be different. And that has been my journey since I was a little girl.
Wow, Anna, but you know what? Just really, really, it just caught my attention to think how important were the words of your dad when your dad came. This is amazing because this is the impact that we create through our words, how we can influence the mind of a child. And
Oh,
with words
yes.
of wisdom, we can become creators or we can destroy worlds. So just by your dad showing you those words of inspiration, it was like this thing
And
that
of, and
opened for
of,
you that path.
and of hope. I mean, it
Mm-hmm.
was like, well, I'm alive, there's hope. So I'm still alive, so I'm still kicking. So yes, I had a very difficult childhood because my hands turned, since there was no oxygen, all of my nails got deformed. They call them like stick drums or something like that. And I was constantly purple. I was constantly very cyanotic. And I was 5 and I really believed this. I said, my parents I must be a daughter of Godzilla. You know, Godzilla? That was this dinosaur that was purple, that was brown, or that was black. And my parents are not telling me the truth because I don't see this from my siblings. And I see that suddenly my color changes. When I was very tired, when I was very cold, my body couldn't stand keeping myself warm. So just imagine that 5 believing that you're born, that your parents are, I must be a daughter of a dinosaur or some different animal, and my parents are not telling me. And I believed it then. So all these thoughts brought me to a belief that there was more than whatever was there for me. I knew that I was different, and I always felt myself different. I felt that sometimes I was even part of another realm, another circumstance. Because let me just tell you a story. This is one of the I remember a lot, but one of the ones I really remember is when I was probably about 6 or 7, that we were swimming in my granddad's pool, and there was they didn't warm it up. It was really cold. But I loved water. I loved swimming. So I went into the water, and when I came out, I couldn't warm up my body. So I was running into like a hypothermia. I was so, so, so cold that the only thing that I thought about is just laying in the floor, which was really hot, and trying to get a little bit of heat up there. But then in a moment, I saw myself coming out of my body and looking at everything from up there. So I was seeing my body there. I saw my parents all around. And then suddenly I saw my dad running to grab me. And I remember that very well. So the moment he hugged me in his arms, I remember coming back. So
Wow.
like this, I had a lot of experiences that I didn't understand. And if you're like, and because many times in my childhood, I felt I was flying and I was traveling everywhere. But how can you tell this? They're going to say you're crazy. They're going to say you're. So I was crazy enough to live it. Now to say it to anybody else, it was really, really difficult. So during my childhood, I did have a lot of events. I always felt I had a ghost. I called a ghost. I thought he was coming for me because I understood that I was in a serious condition and I could die. So every time I was in a very serious health condition, I saw this ghost and I decided to call him Ruffle. I then understood that he was like an angel because he was there I even discussed with him, don't take me, not now, I'm not ready to go. So this conversation, and I saw that he was always standing there when I was under very difficult circumstances. So since he appeared constantly, and these are things that you cannot share with anybody when you're a child, I remember saying, okay, I don't know if it's a woman or if it's a man, so I'm gonna call him or you Raffle, because Raffle is like, it's not Rafael like in a man, or Rafaela like in a woman. So then, Ingrid, when I was writing my book, I understood that Raffle is the name of this archangel Raphael, but this is the way
Mm.
they call him in Catalan in Spain. In
Oh.
Catalan, that's the way they call. And I didn't know. I found out this many years later. So this Raphael appeared in my life very often, and I understood that Raphael, the archangel Raphael, is the angel of health. I didn't know that. So
Mm.
he was someone that always. These are circumstances and coincidences that then I understood that they are not coincidences. They were meant to be, and this beautiful angel always took care of me. And I talk about him a lot in my book because he was. This was probably the only way I felt I had some company that made me feel a little bit secure, a little bit protected in the middle of these constant events of lacking oxygen and going to the hospital. And but I was still here. I was still here kicking, and I kept on living. I remember that one of the moments where when you're a teenager, it's a very difficult age. Nobody believed that I was still alive by then. But then, it's the moment in which you want to look yourself pretty, you want to have a boyfriend, you want to be attractive to everyone. But I was purple, constantly. And my nails were not beautiful. My mom says, why don't you put some, fake nails or things like that? And I said, they were so big that it wouldn't even avoid from people to look at them. I had events when I was a child that was really a trauma because I was probably 5 when there was an event that we didn't need to wear shoes because we were like Indians representing the way that Columbus came to conquer America, and we were Indians, so we shouldn't wear shoes. And my my thumbs, is that the word?
Yeah, yeah,
They were
your
they
thumbnails.
Yeah, thumbnails were very, very big. They were very deformated. So what happened when all the parents were going around looking? They were not looking at my beautiful hair or anything or my dress. They were looking at my nails. So I remember those moments were so traumatizing that what I did was like I went out of my body without knowing that and I went with my grandmother. So I remember being with her, feeling those out of body experiences. I had a lot because it really hurt when people they didn't tell you, but they were just looking at you. It's like nowadays they call it bullying and they call it many names, but back then it was just I was feeling hurt. So going back to this, just imagine being a teenager and I wanted to have a boyfriend. And I asked myself, will I ever have anybody like me? Because sometimes I was really, so I could put some lipstick and I could put some makeup and maybe, but then my nails were my big issue. So one day I just said, I'm much more than my nails. I'm not
Mm.
my nails. I have to overcome this. So yeah, I not only had one boyfriend, I had several. So that was never.
That had to be so hard, Anna. You know what I am thinking now is maybe those times when you felt like you were almost not here. You think it could be times where it almost made me feel that you have one foot on this earth and another one in the spirit realm. Like you're
Yes.
pretty much, for you to be alive is really, really a miracle. It's really a gift. It's like your body were almost not holding your soul, or your soul holding this body, and many times you were more out there than here. You have the same feeling, Carlos?
Yes.
Well, yeah, I got the same feeling, but I'm very amazed with your story, Anna. I mean, I was listening to your interview you did with AJ too, and AJ asking you about how you went through this hollow tree, and that you was flying there and you feel the branches and you saw that, and then when you went to the hospital and you wasn't in your body, but I guess you was flying around, and then you saw your dad and your mom praying with the rosary, and that was really impactful, no? And when you told your angel, I want to see my daughter one more time, and then you was there because your aunt was taking care of your daughter, and you saw it right there, and you didn't want to come back here. And that's what you was back and forth, back and forth, back and forth, because you want to sleep, but every time that you sleep, you was gone. And the doctors they were trying to bring you back, but you don't want to, like, you didn't want to be here. But like you said in that interview, and like you said here, like, life is a gift. So we have to be grateful to be here, because we all are here for a purpose. And that's what we need to give away. The gift that we have inside of us. It's not about us. It's about our family. It's about our friends. It's about this life we're living and the legacy that we're leaving behind. What do you think?
Exactly, and it's a lot about what's your purpose.
Yes.
I understood at a certain age because, of course, I got married out of all the expectations. I had a daughter. I mean, nobody really believed I had a biological daughter. She was born 4 pounds, a little bitty baby, perfectly healthy. So by the time I went to Houston, because there was nothing to do in Mexico where I was born. There was no knowledge about this. They had just started to do some minor surgeries to children like me, but I was already 24 years old.
Wow.
So I had survived. When I get to the hospital, the first thing that the doctor says, how did you dare have a baby? I mean, you're not supposed to be here. And my answer was very clear, Ingrid and Carlos. It's like, well, I asked God and he gave her to me. It was like simple for me, but it was this belief, this thought, everything I had created, and my body had found a balance. So when I got there, they said, your heart is really in a very, we don't know how he has survived here, but we think we have something for you. So that was my first open heart surgery at 24, when nobody had ever survived up to that age. And there's where I got my near-death experience. I had a very, very complex surgery. It was surgery that lasted about 11 hours. And then, I got, how do you call staphylococcus?
Oh, it's the bacteria.
This very terrible bacteria in my organism after the first surgery. So they found out that
it's
I was.
Yes, it is the same.
There's a name, but I don't remember. So all of my cavity around my heart and my lungs were full of this fluid that was full of that bacteria. Wow. So they had to do another very fast surgery. And in this surgery is when things got very complicated. But I remember that before that, and this is something like what Carlos is sharing, when before I got into there, I said, Raffle, the only thing I want to do is just let me see my daughter again. Just let me, I know maybe I'm going to pass. I mean, it's okay. I've lived 24 years. I thought I was going to die when I was a little girl. I'm grateful. I'm thankful. But just let me see my daughter. That's all I want. So I was trying to negotiate with Raffle there. And then I asked God, and I said, God, thank you for my life. Take care of my husband. Take care of my parents. But I just want to see my daughter. Give me the chance to do that. Wow. So things got complicated, and you can read the story. But when I went into I came back to that surgery, but then I got into a respiratory arrest and then a heart arrest. Is when they were supposed to be people with me and there was nobody. Do you think that's a coincidence? I don't think so. Every time something very awful happens, there's blessings, hidden blessings behind. So I've stopped complaining about anything that happens to me, because there's always a reason or a lesson to be learned. Always, always, always. At least in my life, it has been like that. And it's always also on what are you concentrating your vision? Where is it? Is it in the lesson you're learning, or is it in the tragedy you're going through? So when I went there, what happened is that there was nobody with me. I got a heart arrest, respiratory arrest, and I immediately felt how my body, I came out of my body. I saw myself, everybody was there trying to CPR, trying to bring me back. And it was like, wow, I finally can breathe. That was my sensation was, wow, I mean, it's okay. You take care of my body. And there's where I understand why we say my body, my eyes, my hands, because we're much more than a body.
Yeah.
I was like,
Mm-hmm.
okay, there is my body, but I'm here.
That's the vehicle. That's the vehicle. That's
That's
we're
right.
leaving the vehicle. You're getting out of the vehicle, and now you see your ethereal body. Yeah.
Exactly. So I saw myself, some people call it a tunnel. For me, it was like a big tree inside a big circumference, and I saw a lot of branches with a lot of things. First was little animals, beautiful animals, birds, little ones, and then bigger ones, lions, tigers, all of those, and I could even touch them. My connection to nature changed so much, Carlos and Ingrid, after that experience.
Me
I
too.
know that we are one, we are united, we need each other somehow to survive in this earth, but we should respect our lives, even a plan. And that's, I love how my husband and I, every time we are going to eat, we are grateful. And I love the way he does it. He says, thank you for all the sacrifices that were done for us to be eating this food, because there were a lot of them, and
Mhm.
we rarely think about all of that. So there's where this beautiful thing comes. I'm floating inside this beautiful tree, and suddenly I see my girl.
Mm.
I see my baby. And I saw she was in her crib with an aunt. I didn't even know they had moved her there. But I see her with her in a crib. And there's what I understood about attachments. I was completely detached. I said, okay, thank you. I saw her. She's okay.
Mhm.
I don't have to have her here with me to know that she would. What did I ask for? I asked, just let me see my daughter again. And I saw her. So that was like, uh, it was something very magical for me, because I understood that I was fine if I wouldn't have come back, because I saw her. I knew she was going to be okay. I saw my parents, like you said, praying a rosary. I saw my siblings doing whatever they were doing. And everything, this is the incredible thing. Everything was happening exactly at the same time. It's like suddenly,
Mhm.
the thing is that for me to be able to tell a story, you need to concentrate in a certain thing to talk about it. We cannot talk about everything at the same time, but
Mhm.
everything was happening. If I concentrated my attention to my parents, I saw them, and then I could also see my body, and I could see my daughter, and I was living this beautiful experience. So what I understood from this is that you never stop being there. You
Mhm.
always are. You always are. I mean, our essence is always there. It's just on what are we concentrating. That's why I learned, okay, stop concentrating in the drama, in the negative, and concentrate on what you do have. And there I was living an amazing experience. And my daughter, I had already seen my daughter, and she was alive, and she was, for me, that was the gift.
Anna, then I feel that you were experiencing what our essence, what we could describe as omnipresence, knowing that
Yes,
at the same time, yeah, you're here, you're everywhere else. It's like
yes.
we are in connection, and we are, that's what we call the unity, the oneness. Is that um it's even hard to express with words, but is that knowing that your present permeates absolutely everything everywhere, and you are in that connection with everything, and knowing that everything is all right. That was a teaching I kept receiving, and I've been receiving throughout the course of my life. Everything is all right, because everything is happening in the way it's supposed to
So,
happen, and in
Nothing
the
is a
way that we're
coincidence.
growing, yeah, evolving, and living the experiences we need to wake up, to just keep peeling layers and keep rediscovering the true nature that we are.
And I think that's the key. The fact that we know we are definitely spiritual beings, and we go through things because we sort of I really believe that we make an agreement to come. And why is life very different for Carlos, for Ingrid, and for me? Why were my siblings born with a heart condition, and why was me? But I've never in my life ever said why me, but what for? What is it? What's
It's
this
happening
for?
to me.
Yes, what is it happening to me? And I think that has made my difference. That I've never concentrated in the victimism. I've never felt myself a victim, but I've always been grateful. And I think that one of the greatest gift God has given me was this heart, because
Mm.
through this heart, which for some might be very, very very malformed, very dysfunctional. For me, it has been my savior. It has been my greatest blessing.
Yeah.
And without this, I wouldn't have lived this amazing near-death experience. And after that near-death experience, my life has, because I then was aware. It was very difficult for me to tell the story. I couldn't say it. I didn't have this openness in my family or in with friends to talk about what I was really going through. But when I came back, I suddenly felt like I was connected to everybody, and I had a lot of dreams with people that had passed, and they gave me messages, and I said, well, this is very crazy, but then when I started sharing them, Carlos and Ingrid, they made a lot of sense. So nowadays I just don't stop it. If I dream, I write down my dream, I share it, and it has a lot of sense to people.
Wow. And Cecilia, one question.
Yes.
How was your life before and after this? How it changed? Like for me, it was nature. Like after I came back from this near death, I was super connected with the ocean, with the mountains. I just want to be connected with, for me, like the creator was in everything in nature and in animals, And for me, it was an exploration again, like newborn again, and turn off the TV, turn off the news, and just enjoy my family, enjoy my friends, look into their eyes, turn off the phone, and be present. Be present was the most important for me. Do you feel the same?
Yes, definitely. Somebody just said, thank you, Beatriz. Strep is the word for staphylococcus, strep. So that's the bacteria I was all covered. Yes, Carlos, for me, it was right away. Even when I was still in intensive care, I remember very well that when I was, every day there were terrible news for my husband and but I remember one day I told my husband back then, I said, I don't want you to go to the doctors. I need you to believe in me. Just don't go, because they're going to give you so many terrible news and you're going to come back with such a horrible face. I need to see your smile. I need to see you believing that I'm going to leave. I don't know how, but I know I'm going to leave. So then I said, why don't we? And then I remember being there. I asked my sister, why don't you sing to me? Sing a song to me. So she started singing, and then I started watching these cartoon movies, and I started to appreciate so many different things. And now, Carlos, I can tell you that my connection with animals, it's amazing. The other day I was walking my dogs, my two little dogs, and there was this mama duck that had just 6 little babies. So I was there, like, of course, the first reaction of the duck was like, don't get close to the dogs. And then I said, don't worry, we're okay. We're just gonna pass through, and we're gonna let you go. So what do you think happened? All the little ducks came following me.
Oh, you was a new mama.
Yeah, it was like a new mama. So what has happened is that my
Perception.
the way I visualize things are absolutely, it's beautiful. It's a nature, just like being able to wake up and to be able to see the trees, hear the birds. All of my senses got very, very, how do you say it? Exponenciados. I mean, they're definitely more exponential.
Like very sensitive. Yeah, like yeah.
Intensify
Anna,
more.
intensify. And Anna, you have some pictures that you were able to describe, and you were able to create from your experiences. You want to share some of that, because I think people will love to see what that means a little bit when you talk about the animals, the tunnel, the people.
Okay, let's see if I can do it here, Ingrid. Do you want me to do it?
Try, and if not, then I just maybe because you have more. I only have 2 here.
Let me see if I can share this. Yes. Okay, share screen. And let me see here. Okay. Are you seeing that?
Let me. Oh, but
Oh
we're seeing.
wow.
But look at these incredible images.
So this is something that AI did for me when I explained what I had seen. And this is probably the nicest one. I was in this beautiful tree with all these
Uh-huh.
branches showing me everything, showing me people. Of course, it describes it as people. I don't know if they had these bodies like that, but I know they were spiritual bodies. And I could
Okay.
see there were some of them were ascended masters. This is another
Wow.
picture. And so AI did an amazing job doing this. So just look at all the beauty of me, because when I got to the upper part, I saw these beautiful. So I told AI I was floating. So then they put me like this, floating.
You're floating. I see the
So
branches there.
yes, all these branches with a lot
The
of
birds.
beautiful trees, and when I got to the end of well, this is like with a mat underneath. That's not very, but this beauty is like that. Like
Oh,
Oh
wow.
wow.
Look at
Yeah.
I
that.
saw a lot of trees. I saw a lot of waterfalls. I saw elder people, younger people, and I knew there were. This is. Let me just stop
Connection with
screening.
nature right there, with the trees.
Yes. So
Let me see. I
what
have
I
a image here that it like look.
there.
Let me
Wow, look
see
at
it
that.
closer.
Oh, that's
Yes,
amazing. Wow.
And I have another one here,
there
which
you
I
are. That
think.
looks amazing. That one, for example, I don't think that all those people that I described as very older people, nobody had crutches, nobody had a hard time doing anything. So I think they were ascended masters. They were very ascended people
Beings.
that looked at me, beings that looked at me with a lot of wisdom. So
I
by
see
the
like
time
angels. Yeah.
and exactly by the time I got
Hmm.
into that tunnel, I was like stuck in the middle because I didn't pass all the way. And I remember a hand on top of my head
Hmm.
just saying these amazing words like, stay calm, uh, go with peace, it's not your time, and do everything I've told you. And I was like, what? So
Wow.
I just imagine going back this tree all the way back to my body. And
Hmm.
there's where I was so upset. I said, oh, because you don't understand where you really are. You don't get it. You don't know if it's a dream. You don't know if it's. So the first thing that came to my mind in this human body was these doctors are so selfish. They want me awake and I want to go to sleep. I want to go back to
Oh,
sleep. So then I went into another heart arrest, but I remember them going, she's back, all the shoutings. And these things that they say in movies, it is true. I heard my heart beep, 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 beep. I mean, it's back. And then suddenly, beep. I mean, those noises, I have them in my head. And they were shouting, like, she's leaving again. So it took them, I know there were several minutes that I was out of my body, that was sort of without any palpitations, I was dead. And it took them about an hour. And that was the information I got from the doctors. Them coming, bringing me back and forth and back and forth until I got stable.
Hmm.
Because really, I didn't want to come back. I said, why do I need this body hurts? I want to go to the other one. And I saw my daughter. I saw everybody's okay. Why do I need to be here? But then I understood, it took me some time, that there was a purpose. And one of the biggest purposes, like being here with you guys, sharing love, sharing the life, sharing what's out there. Life is much more, like Carlos was just saying very wisely, we are much more than just these circumstances. We're our family, our loved ones. Everything for me changed in a way that it is difficult to adapt. For me, it was very difficult to adapt to my reality with everybody uh, treasuring life in a very different way than I did. For me, just being able to be with, having my parents, being grateful for having a family, for having siblings, instead of complaining about things, I was just like so grateful. And I think that's what kept me alive, being grateful and recognizing what I do have in life and concentrating. I love, really, I love Wayne Dyer. Just place your attention on what you have, and that's the way you will see life, and that's the way I believe. This is something, just tell me if I'm wrong, because I know both of you have gone through a lot too.
Yeah.
But I think that the best way to learn how to die is living the best life you can. And that's the way you're going to die. With the way you live is the way you go. How are you
Yeah.
going to live your life is the way you're going to die. So
You
stop
know,
worrying
you,
about that.
Anna, I think you are the embodiment of that sentence that says, live your life as if you were going to die today.
Yes.
Because your life was like that. You never knew with the problems in your heart, if you were going to really be alive next day, next year, next, I don't know. So it's just, you have really learned to live your life from that place of, like you're saying, a gratitude. And I know Anna personally. Oh, I adore her. We're almost like we're spiritual sisters, and I know the spirit in her heart, how she's actually, she walk her talk, she's like that. It's like she's living her life in that space of gratitude every single day. Yeah.
Yes, thank you, Ingrid. Thank you. I just feel that each one of us, I mean, and if I could leave something to anybody, is that it doesn't matter whatever we're going through, as harsh as it looks like, as difficult as it looks, there's a purpose. I remember when I was giving a talk, just imagine this, just this scenery, look at it for a little bit. There were 85 was the youngest person,
Oh wow.
85 up. And what was the talk about? The purpose of my life. Just imagine. So it was like, okay, what am I going to tell these people when they're almost gone?
At the
So
end.
I did give my talk, and let me tell you that a 98-year-old woman with her oxygen here and with her somebody bringing her in her
Carrying
wheelchair,
her.
she says, I have to talk to you. You know, I already found the purpose of my life with you. I know now, I have it very clear, 98 years old. And I said, well, thank you. I'm happy. What is it? Share it with me. She said, you know, when people come to visit me, all my family, every week I have someone. My children, my grandchildren, my great grandchildren, everybody comes, and they're all speaking, talking. But she had a very hard time speaking because of the lack of oxygen. So by the time I want to share something, they're gone.
Oh my God.
So I was very upset because they never let me share. But I understood that I'm here to listen. Because if they come to visit me, it's because I'm a very good listener and they love for me to listen. So I'm going to take that as a gift, and I'm only going to be grateful. That's the purpose of my life. And I was, wow. So I think it doesn't matter if you're in the hospital, if you're whatever age you've got, whatever circumstances you're going through, if you're going through a very difficult health condition, or if you are going through a very difficult family situation, there's a purpose. Try to concentrate. And this is my gift to you. Concentrate on what you do have. If you really concentrate on the gifts, on what you are grateful for, the horrible things or the difficult things will start diminishing.
Mm-hmm.
They will start diminishing. And what happens is that you start expanding what really is good in your life. And the other things just start being less important, and you start living a full life without having all this drama that sometimes consumes us. So that's a recommendation I would give everybody here.
Wow, that's beautiful, Anna. I just get from your experience like to throw away the fear, because like you live YOLO, you only live once. you know, you have this life and you have to enjoy it. So why you have to be in a job that you don't like, or stay in a relation that is, giving you bad time all the times? Like, just trying to get out of those situations and start living, because at the end nobody's gonna get a life of this life. So why you have to
Yeah,
be wasting
for
your
me,
time
it's
there?
learn and grow, learn and grow, and
Yep.
learn and walk, and
Yep.
don't get stuck, because you know what happens with fear is that fear paralyzes us.
Yeah.
Fear paralyzes your life.
Yeah.
So if there's only two ways we can see life, it's with fear or with love.
Mhm.
So when things are difficult, how can I feel love for this person if I'm having such a hard time? Well, because you're going to be grateful of what you've been learning with her or
Mhm.
him. Just be grateful, and maybe it's time to leave, and maybe it's time to grow and just to move. Like I've always, there's a quote in Spanish that I love. I'm going to try to say it in English, that whenever turning the page is not good enough, change the book.
Yeah.
You know,
I
whenever
love that.
turning the page is not good enough to change the story, just please change the book. But don't get stuck. Don't get stuck there with the drama, because that really stops you from living a full, beautiful life. And that's part of our purpose in this world, living a life with the joy, with a purpose, with giving, with loving. And of course, there's nobody here that's listening to us that hasn't gone through difficult circumstances. Tell me who hasn't. But what are you going to concentrate in? That's your decision. Nobody can
And
decide.
yeah, Anna, that's this is absolutely beautiful, and I love to bring and remind people this beautiful sentence that says, love life and life will love you back.
Yes,
Mhm.
yes.
That's
I
Because
right.
love
when
it.
you are in that state, your vibrational frequency is high, you're elevated, and that's what you're going to attract to your life. And I can even see it with you, like recently, you guys see Anna here looking so incredibly good, and only a couple of weeks ago, it's going to be a month, she had this another
Heart
heart
ablation.
surgery
Oh
Yeah.
that
wow.
lasted for 11 hours, and 2 days later, 3 days later, I'm already talking to her, and she's like, I'm doing really good. That's what happened. The angels, you allowed all
The heal.
these forces to be
Yes.
with you and to heal and to help. And maybe quick, that way we can answer some questions if we have questions there. But Anna, tell us about this last experience, because again, you were surrounded by beings of light, and this was incredible.
Yes, it was. I'm gonna try to say it real fast. I was going into another heart ablation because of arrhythmias and things like that. So when you get into the surgery room, I'm not completely awake because it's not an open heart surgery. So I was very aware, and they were just gonna, you know, canalize me and then go to sleep, and then they just get you to sleep. But I was very awake, and everybody starts talking about things. Do you have this instrument? Do you have this? And all the nurses and doctors, everybody around, and I was like getting very stressed. So they told me to sit up because they were going to put some patches on my back because they see everything by in the screens. So while I was sitting up, I was so nervous because they were all talking, and suddenly, in a moment, I just turned to the screens, and everything became completely silent. I thought I was already with anesthesia, and then I see three beings, beautiful beings, and I said, oh, "Okay, this must be my raffle here," and I just said, "Thank you." And in that moment, and then I was like that second, and then I started hearing all this rattling again. And a nurse comes, okay, you can lay down now. And I said, okay, I'm not sleeping. I mean, I'm awake. And he said, now we're gonna go to get you to sleep. I said, okay, so they're there, they're here. So I went. The last thing I remember is they put my oxygenation measurement, and I went to sleep. So the amazing thing here is that when I go wake up, I remember, and the first thing I told to my husband is this story. I said, I don't know where I was, but I felt I was in sort of a tunnel opening doors, like I was just opening this beautiful, a lot of colorful areas, and I was
Mhm.
just like opening a path. It was a path, but with this I don't know, like geometric figures all around.
Oh
And I
wow.
started passing through here, and it took a while, and then suddenly, I mean, it was a long path, and then I suddenly go into this black area, and all this silence, complete silence again. And then I moved my hands or whatever I was with there, and I could see rays coming out of it. And I gave him all the explanation. My husband's a doctor, and he said, "Well, that's what happens when they map the heart. So you were
Mm.
going through all this, I mean, directing your own surgery, opening,
Wow.
and then all this happened, and it was like a talk. And then when the doctor talks to us, he said, I had such a hard time getting there. I didn't find a path. So I had to go up and down and everything I had told my husband. And then he said, and there was a moment in which we had to go all the way on the back of the heart. And once you get into the heart, we can map it with rays exactly,
Mm.
and then we can just do this ablation. But the crazy thing is that I was like, wait a minute. I went through all of those things. It took him 4 hours to get in,
Whoa.
to go in the heart, because of my condition. Everything is like with calcified, like a bone. So it's
Mm.
not easy to get into the heart because of the kind of surgery I had. So by the time he got there, it took 4 hours, and then the rest of the time was just the rest of the surgery. So everything I saw was like, wait, I was there. I
Mm.
was visualizing this and these beings. So what Ingrid said is very true, that the doctor came to me and said, I just can't believe you recovered like this. You're smiling, you're laughing, you're joking. You must be made out of another material, he said.
You are, Lana.
Nobody understands how are you like this? He said, it blows my mind to see you talking and sharing. And I mean, he thought it was going to take 2 to 3 weeks for me to feel in full recovery. And by
Wow.
day 3, I was just walking and doing my thing. So I feel very blessed and very honored to share
Yeah.
this with you, because I think that glory is to who it deserves. And it was angels, God guiding me, God being with me. I don't take anything for granted. I just feel that we are part of our own healing if we allow it. And God gave me the beauty of being part of that little ablation I was in. So yeah, everybody was surprised when I said this first, and then the doctor describes the process.
And they were not just surprised, but I want to share with people that your case have become something that is being studied, that
Yes,
investigation about how it's possible that a person with your condition is alive, and your case is being able to open doors for the doctors to understand a little deeper, because nobody survives with a heart condition like yours, like you said, past infancy. So it's
without a surgery,
incredible.
yes,
Yeah,
yes, without a
exactly.
surgery.
So now your
And
case can
boy,
be used.
one of the things they're really working out, and like one of the doctors told my husband, well, what part of she shouldn't be here, don't you understand? I mean, I don't know how are her organs functioning perfectly, because the organs start having problems. And mine, they do tests and tests and tests, and the liver is the one that they're worried about, because a lot of children have after the surgery, they pass because the liver starts getting a lot of problems. And my liver is just working. He said, exactly what you're doing, exactly, just keep doing it. So I said, so can I take my glass of wine now and then? Yes, anything you're doing, because you have kept yourself balanced. And that's what I invite all of us to do. Find our balance in life, with food, with exercise, with whatever we need. But each one of us is different.
Yeah.
Find your own balance.
And I believe one of the secrets of you being here with us is your character, the way that you transform your body, transform your personality, like visualizing that you're going to get married, you're going to have a house, you're going to have a daughter, you're going to have a future, you need to be here, and you're a very positive person. So I think that light that came inside of you start healing everything around you. So
I
that
think
energy that you bright from your heart, I think all your body felt and sensed that. Don't you believe that?
yes. I believe definitely, like I told you, that my cellular speaking, the body started changing whatever it needed to keep
Yeah.
me balanced.
Yeah.
But there is no way I can see there. It's like I've always said, you cannot see beauty in somebody else if you don't have it within. So I saw health. I saw myself doing all those things because they were within me, in my heart, in my mind, in my thoughts. And I definitely have to honor God and my faith and my parents bringing me up with a belief that things could be different. Because those words, when I was so young, my father telling me, what if God has another plan? That made me, I think that started nourishing my body in a belief that, like you say, all of the energy I needed was finding a balance, because
Yeah.
I don't find any other explanation. The biology of belief, like I don't remember the author, but yes, what do you believe in? And your biology will start answering back. For me, I remember telling this to a priest once. I said, you know what happens to me? That sometimes when my body cannot reach what I want, my mind does. And then my body gets there.
Yeah, that's beautiful. And the author of the book is Bruce Lipton.
Bruce Lipton,
Yes,
exactly.
he's bad. Anna, that's amazing. Yeah, I mean, what the body cannot do, the heart can, and the
Yeah.
mind, if the mind is being supported by a wise heart, you
Yes.
can do anything. You can do
Yeah.
anything.
I think
Yeah.
And
you're being an
also,
amazing teacher, Anna, because
thank
all these experience happened to us, so we can teach more people, and we can tell them, like, if you're stuck, don't worry. You have the power inside of you to get on and continue this life, to go to the next book, open, get the next book, like you said, right?
if turning the page is not good enough, change the book.
Change the
But
book.
Carlos, this is something I also recommend everybody. When you're going through a difficult time, whatever it is,
Hmm.
and you gather with people that are also going through a lot of drama, a lot of difficulties, it's very difficult for you to get the information you need. So I invite you to get, like we here, the three of us are here with a very positive energy, positive attitude. You need to choose the people you hear when you're going through difficult times. So just
Yeah.
be very wise. Who are you listening to? Because sometimes those things that we're listening just get us into our depression again. So I'm very, very happy to that you both have this beautiful program, because a lot of people need to hear stories like this and like the ones you two share, precisely to bring enlightenment to this life and to this world.
And Anna, thank you for this. Gosh, sharing your heart with us, sharing
Thank you.
these
Yeah.
incredible experiences with that. And I want to bring also the parents, because you being a child growing, having to have the support of your parents, me having near that experience when I was so young,
Hmm.
Carlos having to the experience of having cancer when he was little. We need supportive parents. We need parents that are educated in these subjects, and we need that our children feel that support. Even I remember growing up, my mom was, wow, the first person that validated that what I was seeing and experiencing was real. And my dad was the one that also, when the moment I said that, when I grew up, I want to be a marine scientist, he said, is that what you want to do? That's what you will
That's what
do.
your will be. Wow.
Wow.
So if we are receiving, like you said, all this information, we as adults start doing the work of passing it to your children
Yes.
Hmm.
through your actions, through your calm your mind, through your kindness. When people ask me how do you teach love, I say by being love, by
Hmm.
being calmness,
Amazing.
by
Like
being peace.
your example, you're example
Yes,
for others.
yes, yes, yes.
And also, how do you love your enemies? How do you love the ones you don't like? Precisely by not wishing them what you don't like, but sending
Hmm.
them light, sending them the best, and trying not to get engaged with what you don't like.
Hmm.
That's a way of loving someone you don't like, or something that you don't like. Just don't get engaged, and send them love and light, and try to put your attention someplace else. Otherwise, you're giving it too much power. Just get
Yeah.
away from it.
Always
Yeah.
practice the golden rule. Do to
Exactly.
others the same thing that you want to get done to you. You know?
Exactly.
Yes. Oh, and I want to say that we're arriving to the end, but there's many beautiful comments. I think that more than people are asking any questions, because your story just has been so fluent, so
Yes,
clear, so
beautiful.
beautiful. We had just beautiful comments, a lot of love to you, a lot of, I think, just pouring love and heart to you, Anna, and knowing that we have the possibility to share this space, and many people, even more and more, serving. How can we bring love and understanding and clarity to the world? Because one thing the being so light said to me, when 51% of humanity awakens, the rest will, like, we will reach the tipping
We're
point,
majority. We're majority.
Yes,
and
yes.
and then the rest will follow. So it's like, let's keep just
Well,
Yeah.
I told you the rule:
Yeah.
visualization. So let's see it done, and we can
Yes.
create it.
Visualize that everybody's
Visualize,
gonna wake up to.
yes,
and then we'll have
yes.
51 plus.
Yes. 100%. Everybody go
Yay.
open your eyes.
Thank
Oh
you
gosh.
so much for having me here, both of you. Carlos, Ingrid, you are amazing. I love you both. I know your stories. You're just amazing people. And what you're doing here is really worth seeing and following. So, everybody that's here, just follow and share. I just love what these two beautiful cosmic brothers and sister are doing. Thank you.
Oh,
Thank you
thank
so
you
much for
all.
sharing your heart and your story with us and with everybody that is watching. God bless
Thank
you
you.
and send you love and light to you.
Thank you for
Thank
having me
you
here. God bless.
everybody for being here,
Thank
and we'll
you.
be here next Wednesday again. Please join us, and wow, sharing this space with all of you is just a true gift.
It's been
True gift.
amazing.
We're so blessed.
Oh, yeah.
Oh
Thank
wow.
you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you
Blessings
all
to
so
all.
much.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.